Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Brandon Fair. I'm here with Voice of Recovery. It's been a good week. Also, got to go camping with my kids last night, and it was awesome. Played a lot in the river, had a real good time. So last week I talked a lot about, changes and consistency and goals. I was looking back at some of the things in my life that have changed, especially recently, and it's like pretty drastic. Sometimes I can get caught up in the fact that day by day, it doesn't really seem like much is happening, when a lot is really going on, in the scope of things. But there is no, let me see, I don't know, but I guess, time really brings things to light. It makes things, more obvious. And I guess part of the hindsight's 2020, eventually in time, you'll be able to be like, wow, this or that. And so, when I first got here, or let's say about 5 months ago, I enrolled in some classes. I needed to complete some therapy classes to get my driver's license back, because I have a DUI. Got one in 2019. It's taken up until now to actually complete those therapy classes, and that's me trying 2 other times to get them finished, and always falling back into the same mess that I was trying to get out of. And so when I enrolled in these classes, I kind of took advantage of the farm and my time here to get a lot of things done. I had a plan, I guess, and I've been executing that plan pretty well. One thing I wanted to do was complete those classes. I did that last week, so that was pretty awesome. I do want to say one thing though, and this kind of, I don't know, looking back on it, it kind of really rubs me the wrong way. And that's even though I'm finished with it. But when I signed up for these classes or enrolled, however you want to put it, I came to them and I was pretty honest. You have to do like an intake, and I was pretty honest. They asked some pretty personal questions, and they're all in your business. And I don't know, I felt a lot of the questions they asked kind of was none of their business. I was pretty honest and forthcoming, for the most part. And they ask you if you're on probation, and then they want to get your probation officer's information, and is it okay to talk to them? And looking back on it now, I would say I would have maybe left that information out. And this is why, because I did go ahead and do like the intake and went through an assessment, and I only needed to complete 1 set of classes, and I was told after the assessment that, hey, it showed that I would benefit from another set of classes, well, another class also. So when it was all said and done, I was enrolled in 2 classes, Tuesday and Wednesday evenings, for 2 hours. And the one that I was required by the DMV to complete, I needed 24 hours, and then I guess they put a number on this other one, and it was 24 to 32. Last week I come to my Tuesday night class, and that's the extra one, 24 to 32. And I talked to my therapist, and I was like, hey, well, tomorrow is my last relapse prevention class, and then that's all that is required of me. And so, can I get my discharge paperwork and so forth? She says, well, I need to talk to your probation and your parole officer, and if they agree, then we'll discharge you. Even though I don't think they would have any reason not to. It really just really rubbed me the wrong way, because they never required me to go to these classes. I felt that like just me, doing both of them in the beginning was more than what was required of me, and I was not more than happy, but I was willing to do. So I don't know, maybe I didn't use my assertiveness in the beginning, or or maybe I handled it the right way, and I'm just looking back on it for next time. So I don't know. There's that, and it's done now. So did I get some things out of it? I would say I really got a overload of similar, if not the same, subjects and topics week after week, and it was really hard to get a lot out of the classes. They were on Zoom, and most of the time the classes were so large that everybody would kind of do like an intro, how their week was and so forth, and sometimes somebody would have a problem, and before the class is over. So that would be most weeks. Maybe other weeks there was time for like a half an hour or something, and so that was that. I'm glad it's behind me, and I definitely have an appreciation for those evenings that I was attending those classes. So my schedule's opening up a lot more, and I'm excited, and I'm happy for that. So that's a change, and that's something that is a thing of the past. But that leads me to another topic, and that's like planning. I've really had a plan since day one, and I've managed to execute that plan pretty well, and almost have taken it for granted because I get caught up. But there aren't many other people that I see or that I know who are kind of on a plan like my own. Not to say that they're not doing things for their recovery, but I think having kids and just being where I'm at, there's a lot I want to do, and so I'm going after it. Things like starting my own business, completing these classes, I don't know, getting certain certifications and so forth. There's probably a lot that I just can't think of right now. But I guess I have to really be careful to just not be discouraged or assume that there's nothing to be learned by the difficulties and struggles that I go through just in general in this journey, and this phase of my recovery, because there's always something to learn and something to gain, no matter what. But it's just being aware and, you know, acknowledging that, wanting to get the most out of everything. And, you know, it's hard, but when you're really being tested and stretched, you know, there is a lot and a big possibility that, you know, you're really growing in some positive ways and really working on some things, you know, deeply working on some things and overcoming some things. So that's awesome. You know, kind of along the same thing as Winston Churchill said, he who fails to plan is planning to fail. And I mean, that's kind of how I feel. And I just have to keep reminding myself, like, hey, Brandon, you've set out to accomplish these things, and you're doing good. Don't stop now. Another quote per se came from an old coworker. He was, I guess, my foreman, and his name was Doug Adams, and he used to say the 3 P's, and it was improper planning leads to piss poor performances. And you know, that just kind of hit me after all these years. You know, I still remember that, and you know, it's really true in a lot of ways. You know, there's a lot to you know, just taking the time to you know, put a plan in motion and really going after some things. I'm working on my finances right now, and that's a sore subject. And I'm in a pretty in-depth class, and so I'm realizing after looking at just the courses and how it goes, that, you know, there's a lot required of me, and you know, when it's all said and done, I should have a house paid for, and a college fund for my kids, and a year's worth of living, you know, saved up. And that's a lot to digest, me right now, but you know, I looked at, you know, where I'm at right now, and you know, that's me starting, and I have a mentor, and you know, I kind of told him, hey, I did this money something inventory, and it was kind of just like graded me on my money habits and spending and stuff. And I think my average between all the topics, I guess, was 55, and you know, I felt that was pretty low out of 100. But he's like, that's not bad. He's like, it's more than halfway there. He's like, it's not a 0, and that's, you know, that's true. And so, you know, I have him to put things into perspective for me, which is awesome, because I guess, you know, I don't know, I kind of get discouraged when I look at things like that or see things like that. But, you know, I'm on the right path, and I mean, I'm starting in a good spot. It is intimidating, though, to just look at some of these things that I need to, that I'm shooting after, these goals. I think the first one is to have $1,000 in savings. That's check mark number 1. So I'm not quite there yet, and you know, that's the first one, and there's only 7. So you know, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna be working on this for a long time. And but you know, I have a plan, and I'm putting it into action, and I feel good about it. And I need to remind myself, you know, a lot, just to stay on track and, you know, keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm actually, you know, accomplishing the things I want to accomplish. Um, Another saying, and I don't know if I've brought. So the saying goes, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. And I'm not sure they really know who came up with that specifically. I looked online, and I saw some stuff about Abraham Lincoln, but I guess Abraham Lincoln never really said that. And so, yeah, but that has been kind of what I've been kind of thinking about. Trying not to be so impulsive, and just trying to practice better, I guess, self-control. And you know, it's been working. uh, I think I have a pretty good plan in motion for a lot of things, so it's easy for me to, you know, forego some immediate gratification when I really stop and think about what it is that I'm working towards and moving towards. Um, so I don't know. That's just a cool, you know, saying or definition. And you know, I don't know. Maybe it'll change the way you think about things, but it definitely did me. So, see you next time.